Hello everyone, I'm Satyam. Today I'll show you how I built a production-ready file vault application using AI tools in less than an hour. I ensured that the system has necessary checks like deduplication, rate limiting, and also I did a comprehensive testing as well. I worked on building this application using Django, Docker, and Python. I used one of the most widely used AI-powered tool, that is Cursor, with Claude to speed up development and ensure production-grade quality. Let's dive in. So if you see the business use case, these type of solutions can be quite useful for security solutions, efficient data storage, and it can really help in the cybersecurity world. As you can see in the problem statement, our goal is to have optimized storage for files, reports, and forensic evidences, faster incident investigation, and the scalability and performance of the application. So the features that we will focus on currently will be file deduplication, where we will optimize storage efficiency by detecting and handling any duplicate file uploads. Then we'll have a search and filtering system where we will enable efficient retrieval of stored files through search and filtering options. We'll have query parameters to list the API for filtering or search. That is, we can search by file name, which can be case insensitive. We can also filter by file type, minimum size, maximum size, start date, end date, or like we can have multiple combination of the filters. We also have to do the call and storage limit implementation. That is basically we have to protect the application's health by programmatically limiting the number of API calls a particular user can make per second by limiting the amount of file storage space used by user. So I had the initial requirement doc and the basic code setup. Now I'll show you how I used Cursor to generate the code for the entire feature. So I gave the requirement doc to Cursor and I gave the prompt that I want to implement all the requirements mentioned in the PDF. So initially you can see that it was unable to read the PDF as it's a binary. Then I downloaded an extension to help Cursor read the PDF. Then it went through the PDF and it uh, correctly gathered the requirements that were required to do this feature. So you can see that it clearly outlined what all feature needs to be implemented. Are there any specific file processing requirements? What are the business logic or validations? And is there any security requirements beyond the basic setup required? So now if you go through the actions done by Cursor, you can see that it created the models first, then it updated the settings for configurable rate limit and storage quotas. Then it created middleware to handle the rate limiting for the user. Then it also did the serialization for the required fields. It created the views to implement the required functionality. It also added a date util dependency in the requirement.txt. Once after doing this all, you can see that it showed that all the major features were implemented. Now it created the database migration for the model changes and test the system. It is worth noting that initially it was struggling to run the Python commands. Then you can see that it first did the virtual environment setup and still it was failing due to the commands that it was using. It was using Python and pip3 instead of Python and pip instead of pip3 and Python 3. So I gave the prompt that you should use uh, Python 3 and pip3 instead of pip and Python, and then it acknowledged that comment, and then it did the virtual environment setup and it ran all the commands, which then ran successfully. Then it did all the building of the application, and then it was able to test the feature that it built. You can see that I asked Cursor to generate a test script to to verify whether all the features are working correctly or not. It created a test API.py and tested all the features, and you can see that it did a exhaustive testing of around 40 plus tests. You can also see that it gave us the stats of the storage, like what was the actual storage, what was without deduplication, and what was after deduplication, the savings of storage that it did, and it also gave us a complete overview of like file deduplication system, which was implemented using SHA 256, which is a hashing algorithm. You can use anything other than that also. Again, it also gave us the insights about search and filtering system, rate limiting and storage quotas, and it also gave us what all APIs were implemented, and what was the technical implementation behind that. Now I will quickly boot up the server for you and show how the APIs are behaving. So first, let me show you the files that are used here. So you can see that file1.txt has hello world content, file2.txt has the same content hello world, and then we have a different file3, which has a different content. We have also data.json, which has a different content. You can see that our server is started at 8000 port. Now I'll show you first the application up status. You can see that here in the preview, this Django administration is up. Now I'll upload the first file, file1.txt. You can see that you got a file ID here, and the size is also rendered in the response, which is 20. Now I'll upload the second file. Already showed you that file2.txt has same content than file1.txt. You can see that is reference is coming as true, which means that it is reference to another file and the storage won't be used. Now I'll upload a JSON file, which is a different file with different content type. You can see that here a JSON file is uploaded. So I uploaded 7 files one after the other. Now you will see all the files here. You can see that there are different storage 36, 20, 20, 36, 20. So the total storage will sum up to 188, but the total storage which was used actually is 56. Now you can see that there is a saving of 70% storage. So now I've already shown you the deduplication feature. I will now show you the rate limiting feature. So I'll hit this API multiple times. You can see that after a certain number of times, this API will give call limit exceeded. If we hit it multiple times, yeah, you have seen that call limit reached is coming in the response. You can also get the file details using the file details API, where you will just pass the file job ID here, and you can also delete this file using the file ID. And we have also a feature to get all the available file types using this API. So you have seen that currently we uploaded 2 files, application JSON and plain text. So we have 2 files. Before closing this demo, I will show you how like the tests were running successfully. So this journey was not a cakewalk. I had to update the prompt in between. It generated tests which were failing initially, but like after certain refinements, it generated the tests which were working perfectly, and also it generated the README file when I gave the prompt to generate the README file. So it generated README as well, which is very user friendly. So now if you see the test results, you can see that the test results are there and all the tests that were generated are passing. So overall, what I mean to say is AI tools will help us speed up repetitive coding and focus more on design decisions. I think this workflow makes me much productive in real world engineering tasks. So to summarize, prompts are everything for AI tools. You need to give a clear, concise prompts. You need to give it systematic and a small prompt so that it can generate codes in a systematic manner. And you need to test it thoroughly. One of the easiest approach to verify the code generated by AI tools can be to ask the AI to write the unit test. You can tell them, like you can give them a simple prompt that can you write tests which can help us verify all the scenarios. You can review the tests properly and you can check whether the desired feature is done properly or not. That's all for the video, guys. You must have witnessed that how incredible results AI tools can produce with proper prompting. I'll share the some relevant prompts in the GitHub repo link that I'll mention in the video description.